Hello everyone, and thank you for watching Fayetteville Public Utilities. I'm Sarah Mack-Young, and today in our studio we have a very special guest with us. We have Miss Stephanie Cline with us. Stephanie is with the American Heart Association, and it's great to have you here in FPU's Channel 6 studio today to talk to us a little bit about the American Heart Association.
Yes, I'm excited to be here. Thank you guys again for hosting me. We're excited to announce, the Heart Walk is coming back to Fayetteville. October the 27th. So we did move back to a Sunday. That was kind of everybody's Saturday or Sunday. So we did move back to Sunday this year. So it'll be 2 o'clock at the Patrick. We're really excited about that. And wanted to talk just a little bit about what AHA does here in Fayetteville, what they're doing in the state of Tennessee, and just really showing people what an impact they have.
Absolutely. Tell folks at home a little bit about you, what you do with the American Heart Association, yes. Stephanie.
So I am the Heart Walk director for the Lincoln County Heart Walk. And so I've been here just almost 6 years. So I'm excited to be here again. And I actually facilitate the walk, oversee Heart Walk teams, sponsorships, anything of that nature. And then, of course, putting on the day of the event, working with survivors. I think that's one of the greatest rewards of this job is hearing the stories of the survivors and being able to talk with them about how their lives have changed since then.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about the American Heart Association and telling folks at home a little bit about what you guys do. And all throughout the year, we do have a Heart Walk event every year, but let's talk about what the American Heart Association does, all the programs that are available through it to folks, and tell them a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we have, of course, we have the Heart Walk that actually raises money to help fund some of these programs. But one of the biggest things that the American Heart Association does is research. And a lot of people say, well, we don't actually have research in our community, so tell me how that affects me. We have several people who, you probably know someone yourself who has had a stent put in due to a heart attack or blockage. And all of those stents are actually done by research from the American Heart Association. So if you were to go back and actually research where your stent came from, it was created through research that was done with the American Heart Association. The same thing goes with blood pressure medications, cholesterol medications. So a lot of those medications and things that are put in place to prevent another occurrence or to help you get on track. Other things that we do is we lobby for healthier foods in schools. So we're trying to get our kids on the right track and showing them that eating healthier is the better way to go. And we're also advocating for PE. PE laws are, sadly, PE is heading in a spiraled down direction. And we're not seeing near as many kids doing as much recess and active moving at school. And so we're trying to keep that in the classrooms. I know the teachers would appreciate it if they had some extra recess time sometimes. And also just showing people that it's not just about physical activity, it's about your mental activity. And so one of the things we've been blessed to work with we have a youth market director group as well. And so any of your previously known as Hoops Jump Rope for Heart or Hoops for Heart is now Kids Heart Challenge. And so the name changed a little bit, the program is still the same, but we did bring some better elements into it as well. Some of those things we're focusing on mental health as well as social health. We're also focusing on being kind. So we're teaching kids about kindness. And then of course we're teaching them about healthy activities and healthy food choices. So we've got all of those activities going on. We've also started working, we work with hospitals across the nation to do our Get With The Guidelines program, which is where we're putting a program into place with them that's about a $150,000 program. However, they pay about $1,000 for it. And what that does is it's really when you go to a hospital and you go back into the emergency room and you thought you're having a heart attack or a stroke, we are putting guidelines in place across the nation so that every hospital is the same, so that they're recognizing your symptoms and they're taking care of you immediately.
Gotcha. And you touched on something else that I don't know that folks always realize is part of the American Heart Association, but you mentioned a stroke.
Yes.
And there are some telltale signs for us, not only But there are some telltale signs for the heart disease and for heart problems, but there's also telltale signs for strokes as well. So talk about how that relates to the American Heart Association too.
Yes, so the American Heart Association is actually the American Heart Association and the American Stroke Association. So we do cover both heart and brain health. One of the biggest things for stroke, like you said, is people recognizing those signs. There's several telltale signs of stroke, but the biggest ones are if you start to have face drooping, arm numbness or weakness, or speech problems, then it's time to call 911. And so the biggest acronym for that is FAST. So it's face, arm, speech, and then time to call 911. And one of the biggest things that I think hits home for us is using that 911. Don't try to drive yourself to the hospital. We always have we have a dial don't drive campaign.
Right.
That's really focusing on getting people to call 911. And it's not because we're trying to, help the hospital or the ambulance system out. It's more or less because you never know what could happen. You could lose consciousness on your way to the hospital. Most ambulances are equipped with everything that's equipped in the emergency room.
Sure.
Therefore, they can start treating you immediately rather than you driving yourself there and taking the time to get there. Same thing with a heart attack. If you're having chest pains, for women, a lot of times it's jaw pain or pain between their shoulder blades. So women and men can be a little different in heart attack signs. And so keeping those in mind, of course, nausea is one of them. A lot of people have arm pain as well. So just keeping those in mind, making sure that you're getting to the hospital in an appropriate manner. One of the great things that is great about our hospitals is really that you can go into the ER if you think you're having chest pains. They'll check you out, and if you're not, then nobody's going to laugh at you. No one's going to,
we take that very seriously.
Yes, we take it very seriously. And so, a lot of people are like, well, what if it's just heartburn? Well, it's better to know than to not know. And so people are able to kind of look at you and make sure that you're all good to go, and they can send you on your way if they need to. But if there is something wrong, then you're at least in a hospital and it can be taken care of.
Absolutely. But again, to something that you said, even if you think, don't drive yourself.
Right.
Pick that phone up and call.
You never know. And a lot of people say, well, what if I have somebody else drive me? And that's understandable too, because you're kind of saying, well, I'm not going to pass out at the wheel. But at the same time, that other person may not know what to do.
Right.
And if you do have that issue, and so it's just safer to get medical attention as soon as possible, and that really just means calling 911.
Absolutely. Call 911. The same with the stroke. If you think you're having the symptoms, go on and call.
Yes.
Don't try to get someone to take you. The sooner you can get the medications for the stroke, the better you are.
Yes, and that's a great point. TPA can be administered, but there is a time frame on it. And so TPA can only be administered in a certain hour, but there's a few hour time frame. And so making sure that you're getting there in time to be able to receive that.
And those paramedics and EMTs are going to make sure of that. So definitely that's something that goes along with the American Heart Association. You guys are a lot about education.
We are. We're a huge advocate for education, prevention. Heart disease is 80% preventable. So if we can change people's behaviors, which is one of the hardest things to do, but if you can change people's behaviors, you can really change the outcome of heart disease and stroke, especially in our area. I feel like in the South, we live in a little different thinking area. And so for us, changing your normal fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, mashed potatoes every Sunday after church is a little more difficult to do. But
that sounds really good right now.
But we are showing people that they don't have to give those things up. It's things in moderation, and it's also a different way of preparing it. So we do a lot of food education. Heart.org has a whole lot of recipes where you can take that soul food that we like to call and change it over into healthier foods. And then we also do a lot with CPR. CPR is one thing that we don't talk about a whole lot. But a lot of people don't realize that the American Heart Association writes the guidelines for CPR.
Right.
And so every 4 years we do some more research, we do some more data collection, and we look to see, are we still doing the best method of CPR? And so that's one thing we do teach at the Heart Walk is we do a little CPR demo so that people can learn hands-only CPR. So that
so I was going to say, most people may not know that you don't have to do the rescue breaths anymore.
You don't. For
it's
a normal
chest compressions only.
For a normal adult, you can just do chest compressions, and so come out to the walk, join us. We will teach you how to do that. We're happy to show you your loved ones, and it's a great way to get people educated, like you said. If that were to happen or someone were to go into cardiac arrest, 75% of the time they're at home, and so we want your loved ones to know what to do until paramedics arrive.
Absolutely. And those are some key things that you're going to educate us on, and something else that you guys kind of advocate for, you talked about it with students, is getting moving and active. But what about us adults? You remind us a lot of times that we need to get moving and get active, and it doesn't have to be something hard.
No, it doesn't. So this year we actually are going to do just a 1 mile walk, because it's easy for everybody to do. You don't have to be a runner to do a 1 mile walk. You can get out there as a first-time person, and you can get out there and walk. And we're going to show you how easy it is. It's dog friendly, so bring your pets. Of course, if they're on a leash. Bring your kids, push your kids in the stroller, but we also want to encourage people that it doesn't have to be walking. So if you're just not a huge fan of walking, there are different things that you can do. You could take a yoga class. If you like to dance, you can take a dance class. We're incorporating that into our high schools and middle schools this year. If you want to just go outside and throw football with your kids, it's that time of year. Everybody does it at a tailgate. Why not do it in the afternoons?
Sure.
Every day. Baseball, we do have a luxury of having active kids in our area. It's just keeping everyone active and not just those that are continuously playing soccer or baseball. And so keeping sports frame of mind, even if it's something that you're not good at, but maybe your child could be.
Absolutely.
Get out there, kick a ball with them, throw the balls back and forth. Take a hike. We have gorgeous places around Tennessee that you can go for a one-day trip. Just take your family out for a hike, go to a campground, enjoy nature. And so we're just trying to find ways to get people excited, get them motivated. What makes you want to get out and do something?
What do you enjoy doing?
Yes.
And it's different for everybody, but it's just getting active, thinking about that. We can all sit, and the winter will be here soon enough, and we won't be able to get outside. So now's the time to take advantage of that. There's going to be beautiful, fall is a beautiful time in Tennessee, as you talked about. This is a great way to get us moving. And I appreciate that you talked about that, and that we all need to get moving. It's not just the little ones, it's all of us.
It's not just the little ones, it's us too. And I think that's one of the hardest things is it's easy for you to send your kids outside and say, hey, go ride your bike, go play, but go with them. So when you find yourself sitting on the couch telling them to go do something, go with them. And then also, making indoor, like you said, winter will be here before you know it, making some ideas for winter.
Yes.
Ways to get moving. So whether you've got a gym close by, or like a high school gym that you can go walk, or whatever it may be, but also there's things you can do in your house.
Sure.
So you can do scavenger hunts within the home, and it could also be a way to motivate them to clean up their rooms. So finding ways to, we always say vacuuming does build or burn calories.
It does.
Finding ways that you can get them involved at home too.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit. You talked about the walk is going to be on October the 27th. It is going to be back at the Patrick Wellness Center. We'll leave from there, and it's only going to be a 1 mile walk. So where are we going, Stephanie?
So we are actually going to go out the back end of the Patrick to the right. We're going to take a left at the stop sign. And then we're going to head back through that little neighborhood just a little bit, come off on the other side of Hedgemont, and come back around past the state fair, or past the fairgrounds, and back up and around.
All right.
So
it's a short distance.
It is a short distance. You feel free to walk it more than once if you want. If you want to get that 3 miles in, or whatever it may be, whatever your goal is for that day, please feel free to continue to take laps. But we wanted to make it something that the new walkers could do, but also our survivors could do, and then even people who want to, if they want to run 5 of those laps, then
go for it.
Yes, we will cheer and encourage them all.
All right, let's talk about what we'll see that day and what people can expect, and if they're wanting to form a team, how they can do that, and get that information out to them as well.
Absolutely. So I guess first question would be, what are we going to see that day?
Yes.
So like I'd mentioned, we are going to do a CPR demo. We'll have it there on the stage or near the stage area, so you guys can come. You can learn hands-only CPR. Make sure you invite your friends. We are going to have some T-shirts to give out to like the first 50 people who learn. And then also you will see an area that we have for our survivors. one of the biggest things about the walk is to celebrate our survivors and honor those that we have lost to heart disease and stroke. And so we will have red hats for our survivors who have of heart disease. We will have white hats for those for stroke. And then we also have capes for the kids, because 1 in 100 kids are born with some sort of congenital heart defect.
Right.
And so a lot of people don't realize that as well. So there's a lot of heart babies out there, as I like to call them. So we definitely do have capes for the kids. And then we will have sort of a little area where they can kind of mingle and get together. And then we'll also have a wall where you can actually sign in honor of somebody. So if you've lost a loved one, or if you just have a goal where you want to pledge to walk better steps, we're going to have a wall for you to sign on that. We'll also have a brief warm-up done as well, maybe possibly like an exercise demo as well.
Okay.
To get some people moving, having fun. And then we'll kind of close it out and have the walk, and we'll just be there to celebrate.
All right. If people are interested in forming a team, how can they do that, Stephanie?
So they can actually contact me, and so my phone number is 256-606-9931, or they can email me, Stephanie, it's STEPHANIE .Cline, CLINE, at heart.org.
All right. And if you're interested in doing that, you can raise funds, you can get that in there, and you and your family and friends can come walk.
Absolutely. We're excited to have everybody out. We want to, we moved it back to the Patrick so that everybody was kind of front and center of town. And so we're just really excited to have everybody out, have them come out, walk, bring their friends, bring their families, bring their kids, bring their pets, make it a fun-filled afternoon.
All right, and then we can all get heart healthy and be ready to go.
That's right.
And that's the thing, educate yourself. If there's anything that you have questions on, or if you heard something that Stephanie talked about, you encourage everybody to go to heart.org.
I do. I encourage you to go to heart.org. If there's a specific question that you do have, please feel free to reach out to me if I don't know the answer. I don't have the Heart Association covers so much. I'm not an expert in all of it, even after 6 years, but I will definitely see what I can reach out, find for you, or send you in the right direction. So yeah, please
come out that day, help us raise funds,
Yes.
And get that education out there, that awareness out there, and get yourself moving.
Yes.
I think that would be something that Stephanie would definitely
Yes.
want you to know. Get yourself moving, get yourself educated, and see what you can do to be healthy.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we have had Stephanie Cline with us with the American Heart Association. We've been talking about the Heart Walk that will be here in Lincoln County on October the 27th. And we hope folks will show up that day. But not only that, if you're interested in forming a team or you would like to donate to this cause, Stephanie, tell them again how they can find you.
You can find me by phone at 256-606-9931, or you can reach me by email at Stephanie, STEPHANIE .Cline, CLINE, at heart.org.
All right. Well, thank you, Stephanie,
Thank
for
you.
coming in. And thank you for what you do to
Absolutely.
educate all of us here. Especially, I appreciate that. And everyone else. And we thank you, our viewers, for watching FPU's Channel 6. And we'll see you back in here next time for another edition.